This is an economy that has over-relied on a single commodity, on diamonds. We face challenges on that front. They tell us natural diamonds are not selling because synthetic diamonds are claiming a sizable chunk of the market. It's a very weak proposition in my humble view, because a fake can only sell where there is a demand for the genuine article. And the genuine article is the natural diamond. It cannot be supplanted and removed from its pedestal by a fake. So nobody must tell me that natural diamonds are not doing well because some fake has claimed the space. Doesn't make any sense. And so when people fail to position their commodities appropriately, they fudge, they find excuses. I don't want to make any excuses. There will be no fudges and evasions. We must face the realities and do what we are supposed to do as leaders, especially in a world so fractured and fissured, a world experiencing a vicious pushback against multilateralism. We count on your diplomatic skills to keep reminding us that we belong together. We are stronger together. Thank you very, very much. May thank heads of international organizations who are with us, heads of security organs, including the band that inspires and helps us to call on the spirit of creativity and innovation. That spirit would not descend without the melodies that you provide. You do it. We are here today because we need to summon from the depths our creative energies in what we are now describing as the knowledge economy, an economy that survives on creativity and innovation. The knowledge economy is an experimental economy, an economy that calls upon us to imagine a future spectacularly different from the cloying circumstances of the present moment. It calls upon us to refashion the institutions, some of which we've inherited, to interrogate some of the inherited dependencies, generate new knowledge, fashion solutions to the trenchant and pressing problems that face our societies and our world. We meet here as the third of such meetings on the African continent. And this meeting takes place in Botswana. A democracy that has now earned its stripes. We went into the elections in the year 2024, having to provide a lasting answer to a persistent question. Could this democracy withstand a change radical, almost totally unexpected change in the politics of the Republic. A country that had been under the rule of a single political party for well over 58 years, where it was assumed that that status would continue. And on that fateful day of 30th October 2024, the people of this country took a decision expressed in the outcome in terms whereof a different political formation won. And the question was, when that moment came, what would happen? Would those who had held power continue to cling on to it, refuse to give it up, and precipitate chaos and civil strife, as we've seen so many times in many parts, especially of the African continent? Would Botswana remain the exception that it had always been? That question was answered resoundingly when the incumbent president pronounced openly and publicly that there would be a seamless handover of power. This is an occurrence which we may be tempted to take for granted. It ought to happen anyway. Why doesn't it happen as it ought to in so many parts of the continent and indeed the world? So we are most grateful to the people of this republic. We are also grateful to him who at that precise moment, when he realized that power had slipped from his hands, recognized, embraced the verdict of the people, and in so doing, cemented the credentials of the country as an exemplar of democracy. That is the first learning that the country shares with the rest of the world. There's a lot you can learn from the people of this country. And we stand proud because we are truly a democracy. Peaceful. There's certainty, there's safety, there's security, there's credibility. And so when you go back to your respective countries, you'll be able to share the story and the miracle of this country.
Wow, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all of you, brothers and sisters, depends where you are here in the continent, and to you who are in the diaspora. That was President Duma Boko, the president of Botswana, speaking at Pan Commonwealth Forum in Gaborone, Botswana. In that forum, President Boko has insisted the need for Africa to generate new knowledges and skills as well as innovation, instead of being consumers of knowledges generated from other parties. It's true that right now we need to generate our own knowledge. We cannot rely on depending on other people. Right now, our condition is that we are dependent from others. We are depending from others. We are waiting other people to innovate, to do something, to come up with some solutions, while we Africans, we can mobilize and come together and finding our new knowledges, new skills, and new solutions to solve our challenges. Apart from that, President Boko has touched the issue of democracy that happened in Botswana, how he came to power. Also, the issue of diamond. You know that right now there's a fake diamond. The thing that right now, of course, this fake diamond was created purposely to undermine our original or natural diamond in the continent of Africa. These people who want to exploit, or those who want to take our diamond for low price, they have came with idea of manufacturing or creating this fake diamond. Instead, for them to lower our prices, to take natural diamond at low price. But President Boko has questioned and he's spoken very well that he has no excuse, he don't fear. To those who failed to do what is good and right are the ones who are creating all these things. But we must be vigilant and be careful to these people. There's no shortage of ways to undermine what we are doing, to make sure that they can have access to our resources. But all in all, brothers and sisters, all these things needs all of us to come together. They need, it needs Africans to unite, to speak with one voice, to share our thoughts as Africans. And that's why President Boko has insisted the importance of generating new knowledge. This is one of the biggest things we need to do. I have seen in Burkina Faso, Traore mobilized almost more than 500 children into camps to teach them new knowledge, skills, how they can govern and how they can work for their nations. Those are the important things that we need to do as Africans. We need to generate new knowledge, to generate new skills, to induce our people new minds, because right now we have the depending minds. We depend on other people instead of having a mind of finding solutions. We are resting for too long. Let us, all of us, wake up and see what we can do to liberate this continent. Without doing so, brothers and sisters, we'll be depending on other people for technology, for security, for almost everything. Africa, we don't have creation hubs, or I mean innovation hubs and creation hubs. Africa, we lack unity. But if you sample one by one in this continent, we find that Africa, we have knowledge, creators, we have almost everything. But what we lack, we Africans, we are not working together. We are still living in the era of course, Mr. Charles said one thing that I can relate with this. He said we are still in the 18 and 800. We are still there. So we need to change to be in 2025, because you see right now countries are working together, collaborating. You have seen Russia, China, South Korea, North Korea. You see, these global West are coming together. Recently, you heard about the BRICS. These countries are coming together. But what about Africans? We can have good speeches, we can speak very well, but without collaboration, without working together, without unity, we are going nowhere. So, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, I'm just sharing from the perspective of the speech made by the President of Botswana, President Duma Boko. He spoken very well. He touched important issues of knowledge creation, knowledge and innovation. So we need to innovate. We need to create new ideas. And these things is possible if we can start working together. For Africa to do all those things is difficult because we have a lot of challenges. These challenges we are supposed to be, these challenges should be solved by previous regimes. For instance, still today in some African countries, we are facing shortage of safe and clean water supply. The things that should be done in 1980s, that we have to make sure that we have reliable, safe and clean water supply. Energy. Till today we are suffering with the issue of energy. Recently I shared a video of Ethiopia Grand Renaissance Dam yesterday, of course, this week. That dam was inaugurated under the leadership of Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed Ali. You can see that if there is commitment and unity, anything can be possible. So we lack energy, but we have sources of energy. And these things of energy should be resolved and solved in 1990s. But still, today we are 2025, we are still suffering with the shortage of energy. Okay, the issue of food. We don't have sufficient food. How can we think properly if we go to sleep hungry? How can we think properly if we stay a whole day without food? We are being fed by other people. We don't know that kind of food that they are giving us. Is it nutrient to develop our brains, or we are just consuming? So you can see the things that we are supposed to be solved before, but we are still struggling with those things. You know, all of this, it's because we are not working together. Just for the issue of energy, we have countries that have these sources of energy. So my request to our African leaders is, let us put a plan. Maybe for 10 years, let us deal with water. For another 10 years, let us deal with energy. For another 10 years, let us deal with infrastructures. Within 30 years, let us solve these basic needs. And this can be solved if we can come together. Let us, every nation, sit down and say, we are no longer having these elections. We are going to stop these things, because elections sometimes create chaos and destabilization. While people are busy thinking about infrastructures, people are in the streets because of elections and this democracy. So let us keep this something called democracy aside and plan for 30 years. Maybe within 10 years, let us improve our infrastructures in a high quality. We know there's drought and this natural disaster, yes, but let us do. In 10 years to come, let us make sure that we have enough energy. Then water supply. If we can do all these three things within 30 years to come, Africa can prosper.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa.